What's up guys, it's Hydra here, back again with another twisted what if. Today, we're diving into the shadows with, what if Deku was a trained assassin? So grab your popcorn, hit that like button, and let's jump into the story from the very beginning. Izuku Midoriya was 4 years old when the doctor told him he was quirkless. His mother cried. Bakugo laughed. Society moved on. But Izuku, he broke. He still watched hero videos. Still dreamed. Still wrote in his notebooks. But every day, he was reminded. No power. No future. No worth. One rainy night, he stood on the edge of a rooftop, watching the heroes fly across the skyline. He didn't jump. He just wished he could disappear. And that's when they found him. They were called many names. The Orphans. The Syndicate. The Rebirth Project. To the world, they didn't exist. But underground, they were known for creating the deadliest assets in Japan, children turned into weapons, molded through pain, silence, and manipulation. They saw potential in Izuku. Not strength. Not power. Obedience. Your name is no longer Midoriya, the handler said. You are now designate Shade. They took everything. His memories. His notebooks. His tears. He was put through hell, hours of combat training, psychological reprogramming, pain tolerance tests, stealth, toxins, firearms, blades. His body became a tool. His mind, a steel trap. His heart? Locked away. He was the best. By 12, he had carried out 4 confirmed kills, criminals, rival agents, even a retired hero. But when he was 13, something inside cracked. He was sent to kill a woman, a rogue agent. The file didn't mention her name. Inko Midoriya. His mother. She recognized him instantly. Izuku, she whispered, tears spilling. Is that you? He hesitated. For the first time, the ghost shook. Inko reached out, not in fear, but love. You're not a monster. You're my boy. He dropped the blade. And in response, they killed her. Not as punishment. As a lesson. After Inko's death, Shade went dark, vanished from the organization's radar. For 2 years, he lived in the underworld, moving between cities, using false names, working low-level gigs while watching heroes from the shadows. But he knew they'd come for him. And they did. When he was 15, they offered him one last chance. We're placing you in UA High. Class 1A, undercover. Your mission, eliminate them all. Slowly. Silently. Make it look like accidents. Natural causes. Madness. In exchange, we'll give you the name of the man who ordered your mother's death. Deku didn't say yes. But he didn't say no. The day he entered UA, Izuku Midoriya wore a mask, not the smile he showed his classmates, but the cold, professional mask of a killer. He shook hands. He made friends. He pretended. But behind every glance, every compliment, every laugh, he was calculating. How fast can I break Bakugo's wrist? Where's Uraraka's blind spot? Could I poison Iida's tea without leaving a trace? One by one, he catalogued them. Not as people, but as targets. Yet something strange began to happen. They didn't push him away. They welcomed him, admired him, trusted him. For the first time in years, the ghost felt seen. And that terrified him. Because he knew what came next. Death. The written exam? Child's play. Izuku aced it, not just through intellect, but manipulation. He subtly distracted others in the room. Dropped pencils. Stifled coughs. Tiny movements that threw off focus. He didn't need to cheat, he controlled the battlefield without touching it. The practical exam? That was trickier. He couldn't reveal his true combat techniques, too brutal, too efficient. The organization had trained him to kill, not disable. So he mimicked panic. Faked hesitation. Then moved with desperation. He used traps, snagged robots with their own wiring, dropped debris to crush them. Efficient. Clean. But no quirk. When the instructors reviewed the footage, Niza noted. It's odd. His reaction time is inhuman. Almost too perfect. Aizawa narrowed his eyes. Deku was paired with Uraraka against Bakugo and Ida. Target 1, Katsuki Bakugo. Aggressive. Arrogant. Predictable. He lured Bakugo into an enclosed space. Let him blast wildly, then used the smoke to mask a stun powder bomb. Bakugo inhaled. Slowed. Dizzy. Deku moved in close. Close enough to kill. He stopped an inch from Bakugo's neck. Not yet. Instead, he knocked him unconscious, brutally. Left internal bruising. Minor brain trauma. Enough to damage confidence without suspicion. Target 2, Ida. Simple. He hacked into the building's power grid. Killed the lights. Forced Ida to rely on speed in the dark. Then used ultrasonic pulses to disorient his ears. Ida fell like a marionette with cut strings. Uraraka cheered. Deku smiled. Aizawa watched the footage again. That wasn't strategy. That was surgical. Nizu agreed. He fights like he's done this before. Too much control. Too little hesitation. But All Might pushed back. He's just gifted. A late bloomer. The assassin smiled behind his civilian mask. Let them argue. Let them underestimate him. That was how assassins survived. The quirk apprehension test was meant to gauge the student's potential. But Deku was already miles ahead of them. He didn't care about the physical challenges. He didn't need to prove himself. He knew how to break a body, how to use its limitations. But here, he needed to show just enough to blend in. To mislead. The first test, grip strength, he pretended to strain, allowing his hands to slip under the weight. Just a hint of weakness. The second, speed. Midoriya acted slower than his body was capable of, letting Ida zoom past him, barely. No need to stand out. But the third test, endurance, that one he excelled at. His core strength? Perfect. His agility? Flawless. Deku moved like a shadow, evading obstacles, but not too effortlessly. He overexerted just enough to make it look realistic. To fool Aizawa and Nizu into believing this was the best he could do. When it was all over, Aizawa scowled at his results. Interesting, he muttered, reviewing the data. Midoriya. You're stronger than you let on. Midoriya smiled. Let them believe that. The USJ incident was supposed to be a simple villain exercise. But for Deku, it was the perfect opportunity to eliminate a target. Or, at least, weaken one of his future obstacles. When the League of Villains attacked, chaos erupted. Midoriya remained calm, his heart beating in sync with his thoughts. Every move was calculated, every step part of a grander plan. Target 1, Kurogiri, the man who could warp space. Deku had studied him, he was dangerous, but predictable. His portal powers came with a weakness. Line of sight. Midoriya deployed a small EMP device, strategically placed near Kurogiri's control panel. With a quick flick, the portal was neutralized. Kurogiri was caught off guard, confused. Deku moved in. He didn't kill. Not yet. But he had neutralized a major threat. Meanwhile, Class 1 was distracted. They were scrambling to handle the villains, unaware that their savior had just disabled their own defense. Target 2, Shigaraki, the hand-covered villain. His quirk was lethal. But Deku didn't need to kill him. He just needed to weaken his resolve. Deku threw a vial of paralyzing gas, rendering Shigaraki temporarily immobile. Just long enough to make the League believe they'd been cornered. Kill the brat, Shigaraki growled, barely able to move. But the others didn't listen. They were trapped in the new world Deku had created. By the time the teachers arrived, the villains were in disarray. Deku stood in the background, an innocent bystander, the hero. In the aftermath of the USJ incident, things changed. Small things. Whispers. Aizawa kept his eye on Midoriya. Niza had a sense that something was wrong, but he couldn't pinpoint it. Midoriya was too perfect. But the most dangerous part? Class 1 was starting to get too close to the truth. Uraraka smiled too brightly when she saw Deku. Ida noticed how quickly he healed from the smallest injuries. Bakugo began to take note of the cold, calculated nature Deku showed when analyzing his moves in battle. They were looking at him. Sensing something was off. But Deku didn't care. He had a mission. And no one would stop him from completing it. Far above UA, in the heart of the city, a man sat in a dark room. A screen flickered in front of him. He'd been watching Deku closely, sending coded messages to the organization about the changes in Midoriya's behavior. They had expected the ghost to be a lone wolf, obedient and silent. But something had shifted. He wasn't just killing anymore. He was thinking. Feeling. The man leaned forward, pulling up another file. A shadowy figure had infiltrated UA, one of the students. A traitor feeding the organization intelligence on Deku's emotional state, his guilt, his conflict. Deku was breaking. And the traitor knew it. Deku could feel it. The walls were closing in. His mission was clear. Eliminate Class 1A. But his hands shook when he stared at his notebook. His target list. His family. He thought back to that moment. The moment when he had hesitated to kill his mother. And now? Now he hesitated every time he saw his classmates. The assassin was losing himself. And as he stared at his final kill order, something clicked inside him. Maybe it wasn't just about survival anymore. Maybe he didn't have to kill them all. The sports festival was perfect for two things. Reputation. Target analysis. Deku knew the organization was watching. So were the pro-heroes. But more importantly, so was the traitor, his unknown shadow inside UA, reporting his every hesitation, every flicker of emotion. Midoriya had to play this exactly right. Strong, but not monstrous. Skilled, but not lethal. And during all this, he'd have to eliminate at least one target. Silently. Discreetly. In a place where the whole world was watching. Deku didn't aim to win. He aimed to survive. He moved like a phantom, always one step ahead of the debris, the traps, and the other students. He subtly tripped Todoroki into a crater, forcing him to redirect his ice. He dropped a smoke pellet near Mina, causing her to stumble and lose her rhythm. He wasn't just playing the game, he was weakening the competition. He placed 7th, exactly where he wanted to be. The organization messaged him the next night. "We need a demonstration. The world is watching. Make an example out of one." Team building was a lie. Deku chose allies easily manipulated, Tokoyami for his straightforward honor, Mei Hatsum for her gadget obsession, and Uraraka for her loyalty. He let others attack first, then used Mei's smokescreen devices to sneak behind enemies, disabling their teams without detection. He never stole headbands, he surgically removed them when the other teams were disoriented or downed. No one even saw him coming. He placed in the top 4. The organization was pleased. The matches were simple, one-on-one. Perfect for Deku. Close quarters. Eyes on him. No room to hide, but no one to get in the way either. First match, Hitoshi Shinso. Shinso tried to mind control him. But Deku had trained to resist torture, fear gas, and quirk hallucinations. His mental walls were iron. He feigned being affected. Walked up like a zombie. Then crushed Shinso's hope in a whisper. "I know your weakness. I've already countered it. Sleep well." One touch. One blow. Shinso fell. Deku moved on. Shoto was a problem. Skilled. Famous. Watched. But Deku didn't need to kill him, just break him. He whispered at the start of the match. "You'll never be free from your father. You're just his weapon. Like me." Todoroki lost focus. Mid-fight, Deku baited his fire, then redirected it with explosive gel. The result? A backlash burn. Minor, but visible. A reminder of Endeavor's abuse. Todoroki stood frozen, rage and confusion battling within. Deku struck once, to the temple. Knockout. But Deku couldn't kill him here. Not yet. So he played the match slow, tactical. He dodged every blast, every scream, every insult. He let Bakugo wear himself down, rage turning to exhaustion. Then Deku whispered as they clashed. "I let you live once. I can undo that anytime." Bakugo hesitated. That was all Deku needed. One flash step. A kick behind the knee. An elbow to the back of the skull. Bakugo down. Deku wins. Midoriya stood on the podium, gold medal in hand, a symbol of peace and potential. But behind the cheers, were whispers. Aizawa, he doesn't celebrate. Doesn't smile. Todoroki, he knew things he shouldn't. Bakugo, that wasn't a win. That was a message. And from deep within the UA system, the traitor sent a final message that night. He's accelerating. We may lose control of him soon. After the sports festival, pro-hero agencies sent out internship offers. Deku didn't hesitate when one came from an agency with ties to underground ops, Gran Torino. Officially, the man was a retired hero. In truth, he once worked with covert hero-sanctioned black ops, operations that made Deku's organization nervous. They wanted intel. Deku would deliver. Gran Torino was sharp. Too sharp. He noticed Deku's unnaturally perfect form. His precise control. His unnerving calm under stress. "You're not just a fighter, kid," he muttered during training. "You're a weapon." "Who trained you?" Deku smiled. "You did, remember?" Gran Torino didn't laugh. Deku's intel gathering was interrupted when reports of hero killer, Stain surfaced. The organization wanted him dead. He's disrupting the balance. Kill him. Make it look like a villain hit. Deku tracked Stain to Hosa City, but so did Ida, blinded by revenge for his brother's injury. That was a problem. Because if Deku killed Stain now, Ida would witness it. So he changed the mission, save Ida. Discredit Stain. Destroy both mentally. The fight was chaos, Milmus attacking, flames everywhere, and Stain in the middle of it all, righteous and rabid. DEKU played hero. He broke in dramatically. Shielded Ida. Clashed with Stain. But between the blades, he spoke low. We're the same. Killers with ideals. But I wear a smile while I slit throats. That's the difference. Stain lunged in rage, and DEKU let him stab his shoulder. Then he used that opening to jam a small toxin dart in Stain's neck, neuroinhibitor. It would delay his quirk. Freeze him temporarily. Enough to deliver a single strike to the windpipe. Not fatal. But damaging. Stain passed out from oxygen deprivation. Police arrived. DEKU stood bloodied, heroic, and still breathing. Back in UA, DEKU's rep skyrocketed. He saved 2 students and helped take down a wanted criminal. But Ida changed. He noticed DEKU's lack of emotion. The precision of his blade when disarming Stain. The timing that couldn't be luck. Midoriya, did you hesitate at all? Of course not. Heroes don't hesitate. Ida didn't buy it. Neither did Todoroki. The cracks were forming. The organization sent a black file. Inside, photos of Tenya Ida. Routines. Weaknesses. Schedules. He's suspicious. He dies next. DEKU stared at the file for a long time. Then burned it. For the first time, he disobeyed. But now he had 2 problems. The organization knew. They'd send someone else. After Hosu, things felt different. Todoroki watched DEKU more closely. Ida asked fewer questions, but he never looked away. Even Uraraka, always kind, hesitated before calling his name. But Aizawa? He said nothing. Observed everything. I don't know what you're becoming, Midoriya. But I'll be ready when you show your true face. The organization's voice returned. Cold. Unforgiving. You burned the file. Ida lives. That is weakness. You have 3 weeks to complete your mission. Kill one from Class 1A. Or we will. And then a photo slid through DEKU's window one night. Target, Mina Ishido. Mina. Bright. Laughing. Full of energy. No suspicion. She was everything DEKU wasn't. He followed her during free periods. Watched her laugh with Kaminari. Dance while waiting in line for lunch. Trip and laugh it off. She was clumsy, soft, too trusting. Perfect prey. But the more DEKU observed her, the harder the order became. She reminded him of something he used to have. Before the conditioning. Before the blades. Before his heart turned cold. He slipped poison into her drink once. Pulled it back before she could sip. He couldn't do it. Not yet. Then something changed. DEKU woke up in the middle of the night. His heart raced. Head dizzy. Limbs sluggish. He'd been drugged. A voice whispered in the dark. Don't worry. You'll be fine in a few hours. We just wanted to see how human you really are. DEKU tried to rise, but his muscles refused. You're not the only spy here, Midoriya. Footsteps retreated. DEKU didn't sleep that night. There was another. A traitor. Someone in Class 1, working for someone else. The final exams were both mental and physical. DEKU's opponent? All Might. Aizawa paired them intentionally. I want to see what you do when faced with the symbol of everything you're supposed to be. DEKU and Bakugo were paired again. Bakugo hated him more than ever. During the fight, Bakugo exploded forward, yelling. I know you're hiding something. You think I'm stupid? You smile like a damn liar. DEKU let Bakugo fight All Might. Measured the pace. Calculated pressure points. Then he snapped a nerve clamp onto All Might's wrist. Temporary paralysis. All Might grunted in surprise. It wasn't a win. It was a warning. After the test, All Might said quietly. That move, that wasn't hero training. That was battlefield assassination. DEKU gave no response. The organization's timer ticked louder in his ear. Mina's days were numbered. He lured her with a false message, Aizawa needs you in room 3C. He was already waiting. Silent. Blade in hand. Mina entered with a smile. Oh, hey DEKU. You seen Aizawa-sensei? She turned. He raised the blade. She blinked. Wait, is that? Then Uraraka burst in, panting. Ashido. Wrong room, he's in 3B, I just saw him. Oh, DEKU? What are you doing with that? Silence. DEKU lowered the blade. Smiled. This? It's a prototype. They asked me to test the balance. Mina laughed. Uraraka didn't. The organization wasn't satisfied. So they changed the target. Camera with flash target, Kaminari Denki. Easy. That night, during a power outage, DEKU crept into Kaminari's dorm room. He used the same poison he'd retracted from Mina's drink, fast-acting, cardiac shutdown. Denki died with his eyes half open. As if still laughing at a joke. The school called it a heart condition. Tragic. Sudden. Class 1A wept. DEKU didn't blink. After Kaminari's death, Principal Nizu pushed for dorm integration, keep the students safe. Keep them close. Now DEKU was locked in with the people he was supposed to kill. Every step echoed in his head. Every door creaked like a warning. Every laugh at dinner sounded like a funeral dirge. Someone knew. Maybe multiple people. And they were watching him. One night, DEKU found a note slipped under his door. You killed Kaminari. I know. We're not so different. But unlike you. I enjoy it. Next time, let's work together. A name was signed in blood. But it was smeared. Illegible. Uraraka visited DEKU the next day. She looked tired. Distant. Did you love Kaminari? He asked. She blinked in surprise. No. I mean, he was funny. But. Would you kill for someone you love? She paused. Eyes narrowed. Would you? DEKU smiled. And for the first time in a long time, she didn't smile back. And that wraps up part 1 of What If DEKU Was a Trained Assassin. From a quirkless kid to a cold-blooded killer, DEKU's journey is just beginning, and Class 1A has no idea what's coming for them. We've only scratched the surface, betrayal, bloodshed, and a traitor lurking in the shadows. Trust me, it gets darker. If you're hyped for part 2, smash that like button, drop a comment below. Who do you think the next target is? And could you survive in a class where the hero is actually the killer? Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss what happens next. This has been HYDRA, stay sharp, stay savage, and I'll see you in the next one.